I enjoy coming to work every day knowing that clients are depending on me to guide them through whatever financial needs they have.
Every client we have is different. And so it's really about finding out what's really the most important thing per client.
With financial planning, everything is interconnected. So a comprehensive plan means that you're taking care of income needs now, income needs in the intermediate term, and income needs long term. We'll do an asset cycle portfolio. We'll do a riskalyze test. We'll do a life insurance audit or a life insurance review.
And so when we build a deep relationship with our clients, then we can take a step back and then we can look at different options to help them specifically get to their goals. One of the things I feel our job is as advisors is to introduce strategies to clients that maybe they did not know that they were out there. But it's our idea, our job to come out and say, have you ever thought about this?
And the planning it's not always about income, but a lot of it is also about the legacy. So the element of family is very important to us, and it's important to our clients. Hello and welcome to Financially Speaking. I'm your host, Jeff Bush. This is a special coronavirus edition. Our format is going to be a little different today in that I don't have my colleague and partner, Steve Jablonski, with me in light of this pandemic and the age, or the era, I should say, of social distancing. Steve's working from home today. So we want to talk about the coronavirus and the impact on the market and the analysis of the market. So we're not going to really spend a lot of time talking about the health ramifications and the social ramifications of the coronavirus. That's been sought out in many other mediums, on TV and through social media. Today, what we really want to talk about is the economic impact and the financial planning impact of this devastating coronavirus. First, I want to also mention that this show can be seen on PCTV. It's thepctvnetwork.com. It's also broadcast locally on cable, and then we also broadcast it on our website, which is informedfamily.com. The impact of coronavirus really brings us back to the fundamentals of financial planning. Stock investing for the long term, plan first, invest second, risk assessment, and asset cycle portfolio, and all those things we're going to talk about today and really discuss the impact of this virus and really the need to do long-term planning. What we feel at Informed Family is we look at our philosophy of what matters and what we can control. And we live right in the middle of that. So if we look at what matters in your life, and if you think about that, what matters is your family, your occupation, so your job, obviously, recreation, the things that you do for fun, maybe some hobbies, and then money. Money is really the why, or I should say the how. Everything else is the why. The family, the occupation, and the recreation is the why. The money is the how. So that's really what matters. And what you can control is really just the plan, the financial plan, and the financial aspects of it. There's so much in this world that you can't control, and this is all being come to light right now When you sit down and you watch the news at night, or you're on social media, you see so much what's going on in the world today with this coronavirus pandemic, and you just know that there's so much of this that you can't control. So what we're really emphasizing in our communication with our clients is that you want to look at the things that you can control. Okay, and what are the things that you can control? Well, you can control how you plan, how you invest, your various strategies. So we want to emphasize the need to do that, and along with that, we want to look at this market that we're in, and we're really in a bear market. And what exactly is a bear market? Well, a bear market is a market that has gone down over 20%, and in this market, it went down 20% very quickly. We went down since February of 2020. The market decline of 20% happened within just a matter of a couple of weeks. But there's really three types of bear markets. There's a systemic bear market, which is something that's being broken, like the financial crisis of 2008, for example, is a good example of a systemic bear market. And then we have a cyclical bear market. Now, a cyclical bear market is just something that's going to happen every so often. So if you look back over the last 60 years or so, you'll notice that there's really a bear market on average about once every 7 years. So that's what we call a market cycle, and that's normal. Then we have an event-driven bear market, and that's caused by an event. So what would be an example of that? Well, the coronavirus would be a perfect example of an event-driven bear market. Our economy was soaring along at a nice pace in February of 2020 before all this happened, and now here we are in a bear market. Now, this may continue, and it might turn into a cyclical market because there's going to be wide-ranging economic impact due to a lot of the things that our government officials are doing to control the virus, and businesses are closing down, and there's the unemployment rate is going up, and the economic impact is going to be far and wide. So that's what we know. Now, so history as our guide with this event-driven bear market, we can see that prior epidemics and the effect on the stock market. So I want to just talk about that for a minute because we've been through epidemics before. If you look over the last 30 years or so, we've been through several, and you can see the impact of how those various epidemics have impacted the market. And the emphasis here is that markets are resilient and markets do recover. Now, we could say and we could debate that this pandemic is different because we've never experienced something like this before, where we've had such widespread outbreak of this flu, and it's really we're really shutting down. We're really shutting down the economy. But we've been through pandemics before, but this pandemic is something that we haven't experienced. So time will tell. But again, it really comes down to the planning aspect of your financial plan. So what do we know? Well, we know that spring always follows winter. Some winters are long and they're harsh and they're bitter. Others are short and mild. But regardless, spring always follows winter. Now, the reason I say that is because things look pretty bleak right now. So we're recording this in the beginning of April of 2020. They look pretty bleak. But if history tells us anything, it tells us that eventually the market will bottom out, and we're going to get people back to work and get back to what has made America great, and that is a very strong economy. And once that happens, our market will recover. So the most important thing that I want to talk about today is the strategy that we use called asset cycle portfolio. And what asset cycle portfolio does is it really emphasizes the need for a financial plan. We feel that it's important to plan first and invest second. And if we look at this model, we know that we have plans for income over various periods of time. We have short-term income needs, we have middle-term income needs, and we have long-term income needs. So as an example today, I want to look at a short-term model being defined as 1 to 5 years. So years 1 through 5, we're going to get income from this financial plan. When we invest under this scenario, the investments that are going to return income over the first 5 years have very low risk, may have no market risk at all, and it's providing strong guarantees. Then we have middle term income. We could define that as income that you're going to be getting in years 6 through 10 in your plan. Then we look into the third quadrant, and that's really long-term income. Now with long-term income, maybe we're looking here at years 11 through 15. Well, now this is maybe where we can introduce some equity risk. So if we're introducing some equity risk out here in year 11, we can really overcome a lot of volatility that happens in the market over a short term. In other words, you're looking long. And that's really the message that we send to our clients, is that we really want to put a plan together where we're looking long in the market. And then we have growth. The growth quadrant is really built for years 15 and beyond. And maybe this is money that you're never going to spend in your lifetime. Maybe it's money that's going to end up in your going to your family through your legacy. But it's really long-term planning. And this is where you can really afford to be in the equity markets, because you have such a long-term time horizon. So when you have a long time horizon, you can overcome situations like we're in right now, where we see a lot of volatility in the market. We see rapid drops. We have to remember that the market is coming off of a very strong run between 2009 and February of 2020. It's almost 11 years of a strong bull run. So this correction that we're in right now, if you want to call it a correction or a bear market, we're giving back some of that, but not anywhere near the amount of growth that we got. So the emphasis is really on a long-term time horizon. So we have to remember to plan first and invest second. The other thing that I want to emphasize here is that we have a white paper on the asset cycle portfolio. So if you're interested, you can send me an email, info@informedfamily.com, or if you want to call our office, you can do that too. We're going to put our contact information up a little bit later. But we want to get this white paper out to you because I think the asset cycle portfolio is really what has gotten a lot of our clients through this. We've had a lot of conversations with the people that we work with, and they're not panicking through this because they know they have a plan. That's the important thing here. Plan first and invest second. Okay. Still concerned? If you're concerned about how the coronavirus could impact you and your financial standing, you can set up a one-on-one session with us. How's that going to happen? Well, we can do that by phone. We can do it through video conferencing. Maybe someday we'll get to have a face-to-face meeting, but probably not for a little while at least. But we are doing a lot of phone conferences. We're doing a lot of video conferences, and we would offer that. So again, if you want to take advantage of that, you can contact us at info@informedfamily.com. Now, a little bit about us and our firm. The name of our company is Informed Family Financial Services. We have two offices. The one right now where we're recording this is 152 East High Street in Pottstown. We're right downtown on the corner of High and Hanover Street. And we also have an office in Trooper. Now, if you want to contact us, you can contact us through email at info@informedfamily.com, and you see we have our phone number up there, 610-630-4495. So we've had the good fortune of being on PCTV doing this show now for almost 7 years. So we do a lot of public outreach. We do a lot of workshops. We've written some books, and we've written some articles, and that's been a good outreach for us. But today, in this environment, what we're doing is we're trying to reach out to people through various other mediums, and that is through mostly through videos, such as the one we're doing right now. We also want to let you know that we are a sounding board, and the sounding board allows us to meet with your family, meet with your friends that are concerned. We offer this service to, we normally just offer this service for our clients, but in this era of pandemic that we're in, we're really offering this to everybody, that we really want to be a sounding board. That's one thing that we can do. With the expertise that we've developed and the models that we've developed over the years, and really the emphasis on doing the planning. We are acting as a sounding board. So please contact us. Again, you can email us at info@informedfamily.com. Recently, the government passed a stimulus package called the CARES Act. And I want to go over some of the highlights of the CARES Act because this is going to affect almost all of us. So the $2 trillion CARES Act. Now you might want to know, what does CARES stand for? Well, CARES stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security. And this act was recently signed into law. And what it means to many Americans is you're going to get a stimulus check. So many Americans are going to get a one-time payment of up to $1,200 for individuals, $2,400 if you're a married couple, and additional payments of $500 per child under 17. Now, there are some income restrictions on this, and these payments are based on 2019 tax returns, if they've been filed, or 2018 information, if they have not. And the amount is reduced for individuals that make more than $75,000 a year, or if a couple makes more than $150,000 per year. Another key provision of the CARES Act is business owner relief. This act allocates up to $500 billion with a B, billion dollars for loans, loan guarantees, investments to business, states, and municipalities. And what this is really designed to do is help businesses get back on their feet and keep their employees, and keep the lights on, pay the rent, pay the mortgage for a couple of months. So right now as we speak, businesses are flurrying to to the banks through the Small Business Association to get these loans. Another provision of the CARES Act is the suspension of RMDs. So RMD stands for Required Minimum Distribution. So if you're over the age of 70 and you're subjected to a required minimum distribution from your retirement account, so that could be either an IRA or a 401k, these payments can be suspended for the year 2020. So if you have a RMD requirement and you feel that you don't need this payment, you can keep the money in your IRA account and allow it to continue to grow. This also applies to inherited IRA. So if you inherited an IRA from your parents or from someone else, you can suspend your required minimum distributions on these accounts as well. So that was a big concession that was made in the CARES Act. Also, withdrawal penalties. So if you have IRAs and you're under the age of 59 and a half, you can take up to $100,000 from your IRA account and your withdrawal penalties will be waived. So the $100,000 is really designed for you if you either contracted the coronavirus or if your job has been impacted by the coronavirus. You can get at some of your money in your retirement account, up to $100,000, and not be subject to the penalty that you would otherwise be subject to. Under other circumstances, under normal circumstances, you'd be subject to a 10% penalty if you took funds from an IRA before you were 59 and a half. But that 10% penalty is going to be waived. Now remember, you still have to pay the tax on this amount, but the penalty is going to be waived. All right, so in conclusion here today, we want to emphasize that we want to be sort of a beacon here, a voice of reason. I can't say that I've ever been through anything quite like this in my career, but we have seen volatility before in the markets. And we know that we have a very strong economy here in our country, and we will recover from this eventually. And we have to really look at risk as something that needs to be managed here, because risk is a tool that we use to determine to what degree we want to be invested in the market in the first place. And one thing that happens when we go through markets like this, we often talk to clients who think that their risk is one thing, but we really find out that it's something else. In other words, people think that they might have the stomach or the tolerance to go through something like this, even though their money's invested for long-term planning. They become very, very concerned and tend to panic and overreact when it comes to their investments. So this is really a good time to go through your portfolio and talk to your advisor about risk management. And remember, plan first, and invest second. So we're really in a period now where it's like we want to go from hurting to healing. That's what's important. This has been a very overwhelming thing, the coronavirus. It's been overwhelming from the standpoint of not only the health crisis, and people are staying at home, people are quarantined, people are going out with masks on to the grocery store, and all kinds of things that we've never seen before in this country. But remember that we do have a very, very strong resolve here to get through whatever we're faced with, and we're going to, we go from hurting to healing. And also that we are a sounding board. I want to emphasize again the importance of that. So we're here if you need us. So we're putting this out there to everybody that's viewing this. If you need to talk to us, our information's up on the screen. Contact us at info@informedfamily.com. We can set up a video conference. We can set up a phone meeting, and we can talk. And sometimes you just want to talk. You just want to talk about your situation and talk about the impact. And remember that there are guarantees that you still have. Your Social Security check. A lot of people are still gathering a pension, so those are nice things to rely on in this time of crisis. So, with that being said, this is Financially Speaking.